So how is it to live in Fisher Island, also known as America's wealthiest zip code? There are so many wonderful things about living on Fisher Island, but there are also quite a few things that are negatives. In this video, we're going to share all of that with you. My name is Amit Bhuta. I'm part of the All in Miami group. We sell some of the most expensive luxury real estate in Miami and on Fisher Island too. We've spent years and years creating material for you to help you decide whether Fisher Island is the right place for you or not. In this video, we're going to break it down into 5 separate parts. The first part, the lifestyle. How is it to actually live on Fisher Island? Number 2, what are the pros? There are a ton of pros, but there are definitely a ton of cons. Number 3, how much does it actually cost to live in Fisher Island? Number 4, you're moving to Fisher Island. What does the future have in store for you? And number 5, my favorite part, the Amit rating scale. I'm gonna rate multiple different things about Fisher Island so you can get a better idea of how it is. So how's my perfect day on Fisher Island? So I'm gonna go into dreamland for a bit. So Oprah used to live on Fisher Island. She doesn't live there anymore. But in this perfect day, she's there with me. So she can take me around. First thing we do is we go in her golf cart, like so many people have on Fisher Island, and she tours me around Fisher Island. I don't tell her that I've been here multiple times, but I want to get her perspective on it, so I shut up. And she takes me to where the yachts are parked, all the restaurants, even the one school that they have on Fisher Island. She shows me the beach area. So the first thing we do is we go on the beach. We look at the amazing views that everyone is looking at Fisher Island, but they're not usually on Fisher Island looking outside. So we're doing that, and it's amazing. The sand is as white as can be. The water is crystal clear. It's amazing. And it's funny because as I turn around, I see Jeff Bezos. He doesn't live there, but he happened to be there too. And there's so many other people that you read about on the news, and we're seeing them all. So it's pretty amazing. After that, we go to the Italian restaurant that they have on Fisher Island. We have this amazing meal, and you know what? Oprah's paying for everything, so it's even better, you know? And the thing is, she's trying to pay, but they're not even charging her. So we get a lot of food from there. The next thing we do is, Oprah told me she plays tennis. I'm like, you play tennis? Didn't know. So we play a little bit of tennis on the clay courts that they have there, and she doesn't really play tennis because she stops pretty soon, and then we go to the golf course. We play golf. After that, she takes me in her yacht. I don't know if she has a yacht, but for this story, she has a yacht. And her captain is there, and they take us out. And from there, we go to South Beach since it's just right there. And that's the day. So what's the community vibe on Fisher Island? It's pretty cool, actually. When you're there, whether you live on Fisher Island or not, you feel sort of like a celebrity. It's so exclusive, it's so private, and you're there and you're just watching these people that sometimes you see on the news or on TV that are dressed up, but now they're wearing shorts and flip-flops. So you're seeing them in their natural environment, which is pretty cool. Another thing is, while you're going down these roads, you're seeing some cars driving, but mostly you're seeing these golf carts. You're seeing all of these things around. You're seeing a little bit new construction. They're building some new stuff there. These ultra luxury condos, and they're actually building some new single family homes there. So it's sort of cool. Believe it or not, there's only a little bit over 400 people that live on Fisher Island. I think it's 467, but I don't know if there's anyone having babies or anyone died. So according to the last census, it was 467 people. So you're hardly seeing anyone there. Fisher Island is a man-made island, so it's very small on purpose. So the vibe there, you feel like you're definitely someone that's a celebrity, and it's very private. So the vibe is pretty cool. So how's the exclusivity of Fisher Island? It's probably the most secure place and one of the most exclusive places in all of the country or all of the world. You have to be very, very wealthy to live here, and usually you have your own security plus Fisher Island security. So it's very, very secure. Some of the richest people move there just for that. So it's the top level. As far as the energy, what's the energy of Fisher Island? This is like two-sided, right? So in Fisher Island, first of all, there's no energy at all because everyone's doing their own thing. They do have some community events, parties and stuff like that. People going to the tennis court. They have these annual parties, multiple parties, and the residents are pretty good about like sharing and being together. But if you want like a daily energy type vibe, you're not gonna get it unless you go 9 or 10 minutes out from the ferry to South Beach, which is amazing. You're gonna have 0 to everything in just a few minutes. So it's, for those that want it sometimes, but not always, it's a perfect place to live if you're a billionaire. So what are the pros and cons of living in Fisher Island? A lot of pros. Pros are you're living in many times the wealthiest zip code in the country. So with that, you're gonna get tons of amenities, great restaurants. You're gonna be super safe with the security there, and you're gonna see some of the nicest real estate in the world. So those, and the views are amazing. All these water views are amazing. Being able to look and see South Beach from where you're at, looking out is beautiful. Cons, there's a ton of cons. There are no cons if you're rich. If you're the richest of the rich, very, very few cons. But the cost of moving to Fisher Island is incredibly high. There's a $250,000 equity fee that you pay. You just have to pay. Another thing is very, very difficult to get accepted as a member. All the members that live on Fisher Island can say, no, we don't want this guy or girl to live on Fisher Island. So the selection process for people living there is very, very difficult to get past. We had a client, and this client, billionaire, took a while for him to get accepted. And he got accepted, but it wasn't easy. Another con about Fisher Island, the HOA fees are ridiculous. The most expensive of expensive. Another thing is, if you like to drive around and go from place to place, you're stuck in an island. You're gonna have to wait for that ferry to come. They have multiple ferries going, but you're gonna have to wait and put your car on and wait and then get onto South Beach. And at South Beach, you're still pretty far from a lot of other places too. So the location isn't that great as well. So you're watching this video. Do you live on Fisher Island? Do people on Fisher Island watch my videos? They do. So if you're one of them, make sure to comment below, share with us how long you've lived on Fisher Island and what you like most about Fisher Island and what you like least about Fisher Island. If you're thinking about moving to Fisher Island, let us know why you're thinking about doing that. The location of Fisher Island is beautiful. At night, if you look out, you see all this water and lights. You know, obviously if it's too dark, you're not gonna see the water, but you're gonna see the city lights. It's beautiful. Whether you're on Fisher Island or you're off Fisher Island and you're looking in or looking out, it's beautiful, it's amazing. You're very close to cruise ships. If you wanna go on a cruise, you can take like a 5-minute drive and you're right there, and you can board one of many cruises. So that's very amazing about Fisher Island. Another thing about Fisher Island is it's close to South Beach. It's close to a lot of these new clubs, restaurants, shopping. So you could get some of the most exclusive stuff being very close to South Beach. Another thing about the Fisher Island location is they have a marina for yachts. You see a lot of yachts there. So if you have one of the biggest boats, you could park it there. The only way you can get on Fisher Island is if there's a member of Fisher Island and they give your name to security there. Otherwise, you are not getting on Fisher Island. And multiple times I've been fortunate enough to get my name on that list. And selling properties there is just as cool as visiting there. It just feels like a whole different world because there's so much security. Even when you're leaving their security, they're organized like crazy, going there and leaving. And if you want the most secure place in the world, Fisher Island is probably amongst the tops. The architectural features of Fisher Island, sort of boring. It's very similar. It's the most expensive luxury real estate, but it has the same theme. You're not gonna see multiple different types of real estate. There are some newer construction things on Fisher Island, and it is a little bit different, but for the most part, it's gonna be the opposite of Coral Gables. So what do you see on Fisher Island as far as real estate? You see a lot of condos, but these condos are so huge that they're almost like single family homes. It's sort of weird in Fisher Island. A property on the first floor, which is usually not that valuable for most buildings around the country, is very valuable. The main reason is it's almost like a single family home feel because there's so much space outdoors on that big piece of property. Also, you're gonna see these ultra luxury, newer, high-end condos, and they were built a few years ago, and they're also gonna be building 9 or 10, I can't remember the exact number, of single family homes on Fisher Island. They haven't sold yet. It's a project they're working on. But there are a few different new construction things on Fisher Island, which will probably change the architecture, so it'll be a little bit nicer. But overall, it's very similar all around. So on Fisher Island, the amenities are countless. It feels like you're living in a huge luxury resort. Everything is catered to there. Between the tennis court, the golf course, the restaurants, just everything there is, just to imagine it being, if you were gonna create a resort for the richest people in the world, this is how it would be. Even the beach is amazing. Everything is top quality, and that's why the HOA fees are more than you could imagine. As far as schools on Fisher Island, there's only one. I think it's pre-K to 8th grade. But the good thing is, since you're very close to South Beach, there are numerous other private and public schools around the area. If you're moving to Fisher Island because of the schools, it's probably the wrong place to move. Most of the people that live on Fisher Island have multiple homes, and this is a getaway for some time of the year, whether it's in the winter and they want the summer type feel weather in Miami on winter. But for the most part, you don't see too many people living there permanently with kids for the schools. So how does the weather feel like when you're on Fisher Island? It's really good, actually. You're right by the water. You're surrounded by water because you're on this island. So the temperature is definitely quite a bit cooler than other parts of Miami. Also, it's a breezy. You feel a nice breeze. But just keep in mind, if you play golf or tennis, you gotta account for that. The tennis ball is gonna move a little bit more, and the golf course is gonna be a little bit tougher. Actually, the golf course on Fisher Island was the number 8 rated golf course by Golfing Digest, so it's an amazing course as well. So how much does it cost to actually buy something on Fisher Island? This is a tough question because there are only a little bit over 200 residences on Fisher Island, according to the last census. And with that said, there are very few on the market for sale. So we're gonna have to dive a little bit deeper on this than in other ones that I've done. So currently, there are 3 properties for sale on Fisher Island. Let's take a look at what we got. So I just saw the draft of the video and I totally missed some of the association fees. So we're gonna add them in the video. They are pretty hefty, so make sure to check them out as well. So the least expensive is for $4 million. And this one they're all condos. This one is Seaside Condo, unit 19216. This is for $4 million, so not that bad. It's 2,000 square feet, so about 2,000 a square foot, built in 1989. It is 3 bedrooms and 3 baths. And it has a garage, it's not attached, but a garage for 2 cars. So it looks pretty updated. Looks pretty nice. So you could see this home is older, but it's renovated. And one of the things that you'll see in Fisher Island a lot are the balconies are huge. There's so much room. They're wide and deep, and you can definitely fit a lot of people there. So yeah, even though this is an older property, it's been totally redone. It is $4 million, like I said, but let's share with you some of the most amazing things about it, the HOA fees. So on this one, it's actually less than I thought, still very expensive. You pay quarterly the HOA fees, so you'll pay 4 times a year, and it's 12,261 per quarter. So roughly about $4,000 a month, which is sort of a lot for a $4 million place. The taxes will probably end up being about 70 or 80,000 a year. One of the things, if you don't know Miami well, one of the big components of an HOA fee is the insurance for the property, hurricane insurance. So that'll add up quite a bit. In this case, obviously it's not $4,000 a month, because that's crazy. It's all the other amenities you get. And if you were to buy this unit, the membership fee is $350,000. It used to be $250,000, but now it's $350,000. The application fee only is $150. So you would need to pay $350,000 one time for an equity fee into Fisher Island. So let's take a look at so since there are only 3, let's look at the most expensive property. So this one it's under construction actually. It's 6 Fisher Island Drive. This is unit 305, so only the 3rd floor. You're not too high. It's for $15.45 million. So 6 Fisher Island Drive should be done by next year, maybe the year after. If you're ever buying a pre-construction property in Miami, the timeline are goals. There's no sense of urgency. It's always going to be delayed, even if it's Fisher Island. So let's take a look at this property. Let's get some stats on it. It's 3 bedrooms, 4 baths with half a bath. It's 3,800 square feet. So you're between 4,000 and 5,000 a square foot for this property. It has 2 parking spots. And let's see what else I can tell you about it. It's renderings, so you're going to see just renderings of the property. But 6 Fisher Island is beautiful. The views are amazing. So that's the most expensive. So to make this exercise worthwhile for you guys, I'm going to try and find out what the average property sells for and the least expensive. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to properties that were sold over the last 5 years to make it worthwhile. Okay, so since January 1st, 2020, there have been 45 sales on Fisher Island. So if I go to the least expensive sale in those slightly over 5+ years, the least expensive property sold was $750,000. Very little, right? But for $750,000, what did you get? And when did it sell? It sold December 20th, 2021, so COVID time, and the market was pretty hot back then. And it's sort of hot now still. This was 690 square feet, 1 bedroom, 1 bath. So you're paying $750,000 for a 1 bedroom, 1 bath. Doesn't sound outrageous. At that time, you had to pay, let me see what the fee was. It was probably, it doesn't show it here, but probably had to pay another $250,000 for the equity fee of Fisher Island. And this no equity membership was required. Wow. So I guess the seller had paid for it or something. And it's funny, it says, broker remarks, the seller will entertain partial or full payment via Bitcoin or other cryptocurrency. So it's funny because we do get these really, really wealthy young crypto people that come to Miami that buy luxury properties from us sometimes. So what else can I tell you about this property? It was on the market a long time. It says 2,600 days it was on the market. So they were probably renting it during that time. The maintenance fee was only $12.94 back then. So that's the least expensive. Let me look at the most expensive that sold. I know this is a little bit longer than the normal ones we do, but I think you'll get some value out of this because it's sort of entertaining. So the highest property sold on Fisher Island was only $21 million. It wasn't that much, but keep in mind, it's a condo. This was 9,000 square feet. It was huge. Built in 2007. It sold the day after Christmas in 2024. So it sold recently. It was originally listed for $24.9 and sold for $21 million. Tell you really quick, let's look at some of the photos. It's a pretty nice home. Looks updated, but not modern for sure. And it was 6 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms with a half bath. So you have 10 bathrooms for only 6 bedrooms. Sort of crazy. The HOA fee was, it's a lot. 38,000 was but it was paid yearly, so it wasn't too bad. Okay, so let's get an average property now. The average property that sold, so out of the 45 properties that sold, let's go to like 25. So number 25 was, that property was sold for $7 million. It's a condo. It was 3 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, built in 2016. It just has a floor plan. It doesn't have any photos for it. And this one was, let's see what the HOA fee was. HOA fee was $4,356 a month. So that's give or take an average property that you would buy on Fisher Island. So about $4 million, about $7 million, $8 million, something like that, with about a $4,000 a month HOA fee. And then you'll have to pay, in this case, you had to pay $250,000. I think it's gone up to $350,000 now. What, Ollie? Oh, get more subscribers? So if you live on Fisher Island or anywhere in the world, make sure to subscribe and you'll make Ollie happy. So what does the future have in store for Fisher Island? Well, we have some new construction. So there are going to be some new residents that live on Fisher Island. And the construction, as you would imagine, is ultra luxury. The HOA fees are going to be incredibly high. So the island is going to get a little bit more crowded. Having 200 people, maybe now you'll have 300 people, give or take. So it's going to be definitely less exclusive because more people are living there. But depending on who lives there could make or break the island a little bit. If ultra luxury or if an ultra famous celebrity moved there, it's probably gonna build up Fisher Island even more than what it is. My guess is they may put another school there. That's just a guess. They may not. But when you have more and more people that are living there and you only have one school, you'll probably add things to it. Maybe some restaurants, maybe some other amenities. That's just my guess. I'm not in the know as much as I'd like to on Fisher Island. Now, other areas, yes, but not on Fisher Island. So Fisher Island, the values are going to keep going up and up and up, and the future is very bright for Fisher Island. So my favorite part, Amit's ratings. So for the first one, daily life and vibe. So on Fisher Island, I'd probably say, for me, it would be a 5. It may sound crazy because Fisher Island is amazing, but the reason I say 5 is I don't want to be stuck on Fisher Island. And getting on and off Fisher Island is sort of a pain. So while I'm there, if I don't need to go anywhere, it's like a 10. But if I need to get out, it's like a 1. So that's why I would say 5. Location and prestige, it's a 10. You can't be more prestigious. If you tell someone that you live on Fisher Island, that's about as prestigious as you can get. And the location is great. The views are incredible. As long as you want to stay on Fisher Island, it's amazing. So 10 out of 10. Waterfront living and views, 10 out of a 10. The living is amazing there. Waterfront living is amazing. A lot of people have yachts. They have them there. Just even if you don't have a yacht, just getting on Fisher Island, you're using a ferry every day and you're seeing the views every day. For that 8 or 9 minute ferry ride, you see some amazing views of South Beach, south of 5th. So really, really good. At night and different parts of the day, different parts of the year, you're gonna see all these lights and it's gonna be a beautiful view. So definitely a 10 out of 10. Amenities and lifestyle. I'd have to say the amenities are 10 out of 10. You have amenities and lifestyle catered for the wealthiest of the wealthiest. So the tennis court, the golf course, the restaurants, everything is like you're a celebrity because most of the people living there are celebrities. Privacy and security, 10 out of a 10. The people live there because of the privacy. Someone that could live anywhere in the world is living on Fisher Island because of the security. It's incredible. You have to remember, again, to go on Fisher Island, a resident has to give your name to security. So there are not too many thieves that are getting their names on that list. Architectural features, 3. It's sort of boring. Fisher Island is all the same. If you like Fisher Island's theme, that's great. You'll be very happy. But it gets boring after a while. Some of the new luxury real estate, ultra luxury real estate, it's going to be a little bit different. So it's going to add to that. So in a few years, it'll probably go up. But for now, for me, it's a 3. Community engagement and local interaction. I'd say a 2 because for the most part during the year, there's not really much. You are going to have some people, the residents that live and do the same activities every day, and they're going to be pretty close with their people. There are going to be certain parties during the year where everyone comes together, which those are going to be like 10 out of 10. But for the most part, it's going to be like a 0 or a 1. So for me, it's a 2. Cost of living and real estate. It's a 1. It's the most expensive. It's really, really expensive to live on Fisher Island. And to pay $250,000 or $350,000 just to get an equity stake on Fisher Island, come on, man. That's more than some condos in the other parts of Miami. Also, the HOA fees are ridiculous. And with expensive real estate comes expensive taxes, and expensive taxes also comes expensive homeowners insurance. So 1 out of 10. Green space and outdoor living. Probably an 8. The green space is great. You have so much green space on this artificial island, and they built it a certain way on purpose. So it's going to be really enjoyable for that. Climate resilience. Probably a step below the rest of Miami. Maybe a 5. Because you're on this separate island. I don't know about you. I wouldn't want to live on Fisher Island if a hurricane is going to hit us. You know, it just doesn't make sense. You're probably going to get evacuated. So that would be a little bit worse than the rest of Miami. So 5 out of 10. So this gives us a score of 64 for Amit's rating for Fisher Island, significantly less than Pinecrest at 82. I've been going to Fisher Island for about 20 years, and I know Fisher Island really well. If you'd like to check out more information about Fisher Island, a ton more than we went over here, or watch our video of Fisher Island that is one of the most viewed videos on Fisher Island, make sure to click on the link in the description. You're gonna get over 4 years worth of research on Fisher Island and maybe even a nice date spot to go to. If you're thinking about moving to Fisher Island and want to get to know exactly everything there is to do on Fisher Island, whether it's restaurants, the beach club, or places nearby that you would like to visit living on Fisher Island, make sure to click on the link in the description.